This is a fantastic biryani recipe from Kerala. It's from the Mopla community, or the Muslims who are predominantly in Thalassery and Kozhikode, and they have a very unique way of making biryanis. What I love about it is the use of the short grain rice, the fact that it's not too heavy, and it's super versatile. You can switch out the fish with chicken, beef, mutton, prawns, eggs, even vegetables like cauliflower, carrots, and stuff. So yeah, this is basically the ingredients you need for this. And if you don't have a few of these ingredients, it's fine, skip them. But the important one here is biryani garam masala. You need as many of these spices you can gather, and then you toast them on a low flame, stirring constantly so they don't burn. Yeah, they can all go in the pan together, and once they're done, they'll change shade, get a little darker. You want to cool them down completely before grinding them, and that's what you get. You make a paste with the ginger, garlic, and green chili. You also want to slice the onions, not too thick, because you're going to be frying them as well. This recipe uses onion in two forms. One is the fried form, and the other is in the masala itself as a cooked version. You also want to get your tomatoes. Again, you don't want to slice them too thick. The proportion of tomatoes in this recipe is not as much as compared to other biryani recipes. There's a little saffron that goes into this. You want to heat the saffron, or rather immerse the saffron in warm milk so its flavors come out. And yeah, you're ready to start cooking. The first step is to marinate the fish. This just requires a little bit of salt and turmeric powder. I'm using sea fish here, but you can use other fish like snapper, betki, rohu, anything hardy and sturdy. Now on to the frying. There's multiple steps of frying involved in this, so you'll have to be a little patient, but I promise you it's worth it. I'm using a combination of coconut oil and ghee in this recipe. Typically regular vegetable oil is used, but I like the flavor of the coconut oil. And I'm also being pretty generous with the amount of oil and fat I'm using in this. We started frying the cashews. Again, on a low to medium flame. You just want them to be nicely browned. That's about the shade you want to get it to. And then you start pulling them out. And next you then go into frying the raisins. Again, the combination of cashews and raisins in this biryani is also characteristic of it, so you don't want to skip this. The nuttiness and the sweetness of the two coming together kind of work really well in this recipe. Then you move on to frying. So in the same pot, this time you want to get the oil a little hotter. Add half the sliced onions, and as you add them, separate them with your hands like this. And it's going to start bubbling up just because of the fact that you've fried multiple things in this already, but don't worry. You want to get it to a nice dark golden brown, especially since you're cooking fish, which is not going to give you a lot of color, unlike mutton. Yeah, and the fried onions are super important in this. Now we're going to cook the rice with the same fat. So you transfer half of the fat out, and then we start frying the fish. Fish has been now been marinated for about 15 to 20 minutes and ready to be fried. This time again on a medium heat. You're going to be cooking them to about 80%. So not fully done. The remaining 10% will carry over cook, and then you're going to cook them layered in the biryani later as well. You're not trying to get a lot of color in the fish. You're just kind kind of cooking it through. You don't want it to be super dark brown because then the surface will get tough, especially for a fish like this. By now the flavors of the cashews and the raisins and the onions and the fish have all permeated into this coconut oil ghee elixir, so to speak. So that's going to be delicious on its own, and that's why I love making this in just one pot. That looks so good. Okay, moving on. So now in the same pot, now you start making a biryani base masala. Start with the sliced onions, the remaining sliced onions, and start cooking them out. You don't want it to brown too dark, but you still want to get some amount of browning. Obviously, as always, season as you go at every step so you can build flavors in this biryani. This is going to take a little bit of time, and you again be a little patient with this. About 8 to 10 minutes of this entire masala cooking together. I'm adding a little turmeric and coriander powder, and those are, I mean, the only ground spices apart from the garam masala that would go in this. Now, the classic recipe or the traditional recipe doesn't use curry leaves, but I like to add them because it adds another dimension and complexity of flavor. Totally optional, but it really elevates the dish. Then you can move on to adding the ginger, garlic and green chili paste. So the majority of the heat or the spiciness of the dish comes from the green chili. I've added about 5 or 6 whole green chilies in this paste. Cook out the raw flavor of this ginger, garlic, green chili paste, which should take you about 2 to 3 minutes. And then you can move on to adding the tomatoes. Tomatoes are like bright red and really wonderful at this time of the year in summer. So it works really well. Might need to adjust the acidity later because it's not very acidic right now. And now while the tomatoes are cooking in this masala, now you can kind of multitask and make the rice. Remember that fat and oil we saved. Now on medium flame, add those whole spices, bay leaves, cloves, cinnamon and cardamom, and then add the rice and toast it in this mixture. Now everyone's used to washing and soaking rice, but when I'm especially making a pilaf technique like this, I don't really wash my rice because then the rice doesn't get toasted properly. It's a bargain, but it works for what I've been doing. Add water to this. Typically the ratio is about 1 part of rice to 1.75 to 2 parts of water. You also want to season this generally. You want the rice to be fully seasoned, something that's often overlooked by people when they're cooking rice. And then cook it covered for about 15 to 17 minutes. Now our biryani masala is almost done. You just have to finish it at this stage. You add yogurt. Again, for this amount of masala, about 2 to 3 heaped tablespoons of dahi. You add a little bit of sugar to balance out the acidity, and some chopped cilantro as well, chopped coriander leaves. You could also add some mint leaves at this stage. I didn't have any, so I didn't add them. And then that biryani garam masala that we toasted and ground goes in as well. Not a lot because it's a very intense powder. And then this stage is particularly interesting. Typically the fried onions are saved for garnish or for layering, but in this recipe it's used inside the biryani masala because it adds again certain depth of flavor and sweetness and tinge of bitterness, which really makes this recipe special. Continue to cook for a few minutes, allow the flavors to come together. I think by now the rice should be done. Yeah, and that looks pretty sorted. You're cooking this to about 80% again. the masala has gotten a little bit of dry, so I'm going to add some water, which I've already added. And again, because the tomatoes are not sour enough, I'm adding lime juice as well. Now we're on to our final step, which is layering the biryani. Again, this can be done in an oven-proof dish, but I'm just going to like wing it and do it on the stove. I'm going to take out some of this masala. And you'll see why. Leave some masala at the bottom of the pot and then layer half the rice on the bottom. It's okay if the whole spices get in there. Spread the rice out evenly. Now place the fried fish on top of the rice. This is the same process you would follow for if you're doing an oven-proof dish as well. And then sprinkle some of the fried onions on top. And spread out the remaining biryani masala, which you had pulled out. I'm also going to add a little bit of water at this stage because since you're going to be cooking this for another few minutes, you want it to have enough water to cook through and steam through. Now add the remaining rice on top. I'm quite proud of myself for having gotten the proportions almost perfectly right on this one. But don't worry, if you don't. Sprinkle a little bit more of the garam masala on top. And also that saffron milk that we'd made, pour that on top as well. It's totally fine if you don't have saffron. Typically there's also rose water that's poured over. I don't have any at home right now, but you can add that as well. And then top it with the cashews and raisins, the fried cashews and raisins. The crunchiness of the cashews and the sweetness of the raisins are a nice contrast to the rest of the biryani. And of course, my favorite component of this biryani is the fried onions, of course. Cover this and cook it on a low flame for about 4 to 5 minutes. As low a flame as you can get. And it's just for all the flavors to come together at this point. And it's done. You're ready to go. You're ready to plate. As simple as that. This is a really, really delicious, wonderful recipe, and it's brought back a lot of memories of home for me. Yum. Look at that. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you're going to try and make it at home. Have fun cooking with T-Zac.